Arab-Israeli conflict played a central role in shaping Arab nationalism. The wars with Israel exposed both the potential and the limitations of Arab unity. The creation of Israel in 1948 and the following war marked the first major confrontation between Arab states and the new Jewish state. The defeat of Arab armies was a humiliating blow, but it also galvanized national sentiment. The 1948 war, known as the Nakba catastrophe to Palestinians, resulted in the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians. The war highlighted the weaknesses of the Arab states and the need for greater unity. The war erupted immediately after the declaration of the State of Israel on the 14th of May 1948 after the United Nations Partition Plan for Palestine, which proposed the division of the territory into separate Jewish and Arab states. Arab states including Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Iraq, and Lebanon interfered militarily in order to prevent establishment of Israel and to support the Palestinian Arab population. However, the Arab coalition was poorly coordinated, with each army operating independently and often pursuing conflicting objectives. Although Israeli forces were initially outnumbered and under-equipped, they organized themselves better and fought with greater motivation. They benefited from unified command structures and international support. By the end of war in 1949, Israel had not only secured its existence but also expanded its territory beyond the UN partition borders. It had captured key areas such as West Jerusalem and Galilee. The war resulted in the displacement of approximately 7 lakh Palestinians who became refugees in neighboring Arab countries. For the Arab world, the 1948 defeat was a profound humiliation. It exposed the weaknesses of their political and military systems. It galvanized calls for Arab unity and modernization, as many Arabs blamed the loss on disunity, corruption, and the persisting influence of colonial powers. The defeat in 1948 fueled calls for Arab unity and modernization. Many Arabs saw the loss as a result of disunity and corruption among their leaders. After this disastrous war, Gamal Abdel Nasser and his allies rose to power, and Nasser sought to assert Arab leadership and ordered the closure of the Straits of Tiran to Israeli shipping and also mobilized troops in the Sinai Peninsula, while Syria and Jordan prepared for the conflict. On the 5th of June 1967, Israel launched a preemptive strike. It destroyed the Egyptian Air Force on the ground within hours. Over the next 6 days, Israeli forces achieved stunning victories on multiple fronts, for example, capturing the Sinai Peninsula and Gaza Strip from Egypt, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem from Jordan, and the Golan Heights from Syria. The 1967 war was a devastating blow to Arab morale, as Israel's rapid and overwhelming success exposed the inadequacies of Arab military planning and coordination. For Nasser and the broader Arab nationalist movement, the defeat was a profound humiliation. It shattered the myth of Arab military strength and unity. The loss of Jerusalem was particularly painful because it is a city of immense religious and symbolic importance. Defeat of the combined Arab armies in 1967 was a devastating blow to Arab morale. The loss of territory and the humiliation of defeat undermined confidence in Arab nationalism. In the aftermath of the war, Nasser offered to resign, but mass demonstrations across the Arab world called him to stay. His decision to remain in power was a proof to his enduring popularity. He died soon after in 1970, and Anwar Sadat was to lead Egypt into the next round of Arab warfare with Israel. Egypt and Syria launched war in 1973 in order to reclaim lost territories. They initially saw Arab successes, but ultimately ended in a stalemate. The war restored some Arab pride, but it also highlighted the limits of military confrontation with Israel. The surprise attack on Israel during Yom Kippur initially caught Israel off guard, and Arab forces made significant gains. The war demonstrated that Arab armies could achieve tactical successes. In fact, the 1973 Yom Kippur War marked a significant moment of redemption for Egypt and the Arab world, particularly after the humiliating defeat in the 1967 Six-Day War. Under the leadership of President Anwar Sadat and with careful planning, By military commanders like General Saad al-Shazli, Egypt launched a surprise attack on Israeli forces on the 6th of October 1973. They caught Israel off guard during the Jewish holy day of Yom Kippur. The Egyptian military's preparation was unparalleled. They had spent years training, building defenses, and devising innovative tactics to overcome Israel's superior air power and armored forces. Egyptian engineers constructed pontoon bridges across the Suez Canal, which allowed troops and tanks to cross swiftly, whereas surface-to-air missile systems provided critical cover against Israeli airstrikes. In the early days of the war, Egyptian forces achieved remarkable successes, breaking through the heavily fortified Bar-Lev line and reclaiming territory in the Sinai Peninsula. These victories were not just military triumphs but also symbolic acts of defiance and resilience. The initial successes of the 1973 war restored a sense of national pride and dignity among Egyptians and Arabs across the region. It proved that Arab armies could challenge Israel and reclaim lost honor. The war became known as the October Victory in Egypt. It was celebrated as a turning point that demonstrated the power of preparation, leadership, and collective determination in the face of adversity. The war ended in a stalemate, and the subsequent disengagement agreements saw Egypt regain the Sinai Peninsula. However, the war also underscored the need for a political solution to the Arab-Israeli conflict. The 1967 defeat marked the beginning of the decline of Nasserism and the broader Arab nationalist project. Nasser's death in 1970 further weakened the movement as his successors pursued more pragmatic policies. Nasser's successor Anwar Sadat shifted Egypt's focus from pan-Arabism to national interests. After the 1973 war, Sadat's decision to align with the United States and pursue peace with Israel marked a significant departure from Nasser's policies. Sadat's Infatah, open-door policy, aimed to liberalize the Egyptian economy and attract foreign investment. The policy marked a shift away from Nasser's socialist policies. Sadat's alignment with the United States was a strategic move to secure economic and military aid. The shift reflected a broader trend toward realpolitik in the Arab world. The Camp David Accords, signed between Egypt and Israel in 1978, were a landmark event. The agreement led to the return of the Sinai Peninsula to Egypt, but it also isolated Egypt from the Arab world. The Camp David Accords were the first peace agreement between an Arab state and Israel. The agreement was controversial as it was seen as a betrayal of the Palestinian cause. Egypt's isolation from the Arab world following the Accords highlighted the fragmentation of Arab nationalism. The Arab League suspended Egypt's membership, and the country became increasingly marginalized in regional affairs. The 1980s saw the fragmentation of the Arab world and the rise of Islamism as a competing ideology. Arab nationalism faced further challenges as it was already weakened by the 1967 defeat and the Camp David Accords. The Iran-Iraq war divided the Arab world, with some states supporting Iraq and others remaining neutral. The conflict highlighted the sectarian and geopolitical divisions within the region. Fighting between Saddam Hussein's Sunni-dominated regime and the revolutionary Shia regime of Iran increased sectarian tensions between Sunni and Shia Muslims. Iraq, led by Saddam Hussein, sought to position itself as the defender of Sunni Arabs against Shia Iran. The war revealed the lack of unity among Arab states. Some countries like Saudi Arabia and Kuwait supported Iraq, others like Syria and Libya sided with Iran. The Lebanese Civil War from 1975 to 1990 further exposed the fractures between the Arab world. The war pitted various religious and political factions against each other and undermined the idea of Arab unity. Lebanon's civil war became a proxy conflict for regional powers including Syria, Israel, and Iran. The war highlighted the inability of Arab states to resolve their differences peacefully. The war further eroded the credibility of Arab nationalism as it demonstrated the inability of Arab states to unite in the face of external threats. 1979 Iranian Revolution and the rise of Islamist movements in countries like Egypt and Algeria challenged the secular foundations of Arab nationalism. Islamism offered an alternative vision of identity and resistance. It appealed to many Arabs who were disillusioned with the failures of nationalist regimes. The Iranian Revolution inspired Islamist movements across the Arab world. The revolution demonstrated the potential of Islam as a unifying force and a source of political legitimacy. In Egypt, the Muslim Brotherhood emerged as a powerful opposition force, challenging the secular policies of the government. In Algeria, the Islamic Salvation Front (FIS) gained significant support, which led to a brutal civil war in the 1990s. By the 1990s, Arab nationalism had largely faded as a dominant political force. The Gulf War 1990 to 1991 and the Oslo Accords 1993 further underscored the divisions within the Arab world. Iraq's invasion of Kuwait in 1990 and the subsequent Gulf War further divided the Arab world. While some states supported the US-led coalition, others opposed it. The war highlighted the lack of unity among Arab states and the declining influence of Arab nationalism. The Gulf War revealed deep divisions within the Arab world. Countries like Saudi Arabia and Egypt supported the US-led coalition, while others like Jordan and Yemen opposed it. The war further undermined the credibility of Arab nationalism as it demonstrated the inability of Arab states to resolve their differences without external intervention. The Oslo Accords between Israel and the Palestine Liberation Organization (PLO) in 1993 marked a significant change in the Arab-Israeli conflict. While the accords raised hopes for peace, they also underscored the marginalization of pan-Arab solidarity in favor of bilateral negotiations. The accords represented a shift away from collective Arab action towards bilateral negotiations between Israel and the Palestinians. The accords were seen as a betrayal by many Arabs who felt that PLO had abandoned the broader Arab cause. The result was more damage to the idea of Arab unity as they demonstrated the willingness of individual Arab actors to pursue their own interests at the expense of collective action. Many Arab states in the 1990s were ruled by authoritarian regimes that prioritized stability over ideological visions of unity. The decline of Arab nationalism was accompanied by the consolidation of state-centric policies. Countries like Egypt, Syria, and Iraq were ruled by authoritarian regimes that suppressed dissent and maintained tight control over their populations. These regimes prioritized stability and regime survival over ideological commitments to Arab unity. The decline of Arab nationalism was accompanied by the rise of state-centric politics as individual Arab states pursued their own interests rather than collective action. Arab nationalism, once a powerful force for unity and resistance, faced numerous challenges in the post-World War II era. The movement's decline was shaped by the military defeats, internal divisions, and the rise of competing ideologies like Islamism. By the 1990s, the dream of a unified Arab nation had largely faded. It was replaced by a fragmented and usually contentious regional order. However, the legacy of Arab nationalism endures in the collective memory of the Arab world. It served as a reminder of the aspirations for dignity, independence, and unity that once inspired millions.